What is up, students? It's your substitute teacher here today, and welcome to Paladins. So, finals are coming up soon, about a week from now, on patch OB42, and I figured it would be a good idea to quickly review some of the subjects that will be showing up on the test. To begin, the first topic that will very likely be popping up on the finals is Torvald, a new frontline champion who is a giant elf that specializes in shields. To begin, you'll need to know his stats. He has a base normal health of 3,500 and an everlasting shield of 6,000. The shield can't be healed by teammates, does not recharge automatically, and you must use your ability in order to recharge it. Ability wise, the first is his primary attack, which is a short range auto-locking laser that deals 50 damage every 0.1 second with a magazine size of 50. His secondary fire or right click is a recharge that heals his shield for 850 health per second for 2.5 seconds with a 10-second cooldown. Not only that, if you're looking at an enemy shield when you use this ability, it will drain the enemy shield for 2000 damage every second while speeding up your own shield recharge. His Q is an ability that applies a 2000 HP shield on friendlies, which lasts 2 seconds and runs on a 7-second cooldown. His F ability is a short-range AoE blast that deals no damage but will disarm and silence enemies for 1.5 seconds with a 14-second cooldown. And lastly, his ultimate will be a laser beam that knocks back enemies and lasts 2.35 seconds while dealing around 50 damage every 0.1 second it is held on an enemy. When using this ability, you cannot move, similar to using Ruckus ultimate, and it is actually pretty freaking hilarious just knocking back enemies really far away. Now, in my personal opinion, I will say that he's definitely not going to be a frontline champion in the sense of Fernando or McCoy, simply because he's not capable of, blocking a lot of damage for all of his allies. He's only able to apply a shield to one of his teammates every 7 seconds, or less, assuming you use some of the cards to reduce that cooldown. The way I see it is, he's going to be a counter tank, if that makes any sense. Basically, if he's going up against another Fernando or a McCoy, he can basically drain their shields and then, apply it onto himself. Now, of course, he doesn't deal a lot of damage, so he's definitely going to need the support of his teammates, but it should be pretty interesting. Not to mention, from the way I see it, he's actually going to be very vulnerable to Record. Basically, any team that picks up Record will have an easy time with him. But we'll see once this guy actually goes onto the live servers. From there, we also have other topics to talk about for the finals. We have a new PvE game mode where 5 players will take on enemy AIs that have buff applies to them. You'll gain gold and experience for playing this PvE game mode, and every week, the AI enemies you will go up against will change with new and different buffs. Items will also change with aggression being removed from the game. Thank the Lord Almighty! I'm sorry. Got emotion there. Yeah. Aggression has been removed from Paladins. And there are also 2 other items that received a reduce in their cost. Life Rip has its cost reduction from 400 to 300 credits, and Rejuvenate has its cost reduced from 300 to 200 credits. So yeah, I actually don't know how this is going to play out, especially considering that basically means it's a lot easier to get Life Rip and Rejuvenate because they cost less now. Aggression is completely gone from the game, so I'm actually kind of curious to see what will be the next noob trap item in the item store, because I am pretty sure there are going to be people out there that are going to buy the completely wrong item for the completely wrong situation. I should go back to the PvE game mode though, where 5 enemies take on enemy AIs. At first it sounds like it's simple, it might sound like an easy task, but the fact is, after playing that particular game mode myself, it's actually quite difficult. If you are not ready, if you don't have a team, a 5-man team, basically you are not going to have a fun time, because those guys, not only are they buffed, they are also capable of using the same champions. So for the PvE game mode that I took on, basically the enemy team had Fernando, McCoy, and 2 barracks along with Grover, which basically meant that was a ton of shields that we have to go through before we can even cap the point and kill them. So yeah, definitely expect a challenge if you are planning on playing the PvE game mode, and in fact I actually highly recommend it because it is going to be challenging, and I'm actually kind of curious to see how people will be able to beat that challenge. Anyway, other topics to talk about for the finals are new champion cosmetics and balancing changes. Victor has a new collection coming up called Code Green, where he looks like a toy soldier. Yeah, I can see where that's coming from, why it's called Code Green, but I honestly think that a better name could have been come up with. Anyway, there is going to be 4 heads, 1 bodies, 2 weapons, 1 emote, 2 sprays, and 1 MVP pose for Victor in this new collection. There's also going to be a cosmetic addition for Pick called Chinese New Year weapon, which will turn enemies into roosters instead of chickens. The weapon also has firework effects for every shot you fire as well. For balancing changes to champions, Bomb King has been buffed with an increased minimal damage fall off from 15% to 30%. His explosive radius on his bomb has also been increased from 9 to 10. Whatever the hell that means. They didn't give us any units, so yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Grover also has a fix with his crippling throw, now correctly applying the right amount of crippling stats to the enemies when used. Mondamba has been nerfed and now is only able to stun the same enemy every 3 seconds. Stun Damba is still a ding, however you're not going to be able to stun lock an enemy anymore. Pip has also received a buff with minimal damage fall off increasing from 15% to 30%, so the same buff as Bomb King. Tyra has also gotten a buff with an increased accuracy to her rifle, allowing her to hit targets further away without having to worry about spread. And Victor, Tyra's boyfriend, has also gotten a buff, confirming the fact that they are indeed a pair, where his ultimate barrage, instead of taking 1 second to fall down, will only take 0.75 seconds to fall down and deal damage. And that's pretty much about it. That's all the details that you will need to know for that final exam coming up next week. There are some special surprise subjects that I will be talking about in the different lesson, just so you know. But I will be substituting for your professor on that day. He's currently listing as missing ever since he went to HRX. Not quite sure what happened to him. I didn't kill him or anything, you know, just he went missing, that's all. And you should over the week receive a notification of when exactly the finals exams will come out. Also, if you guys have no idea what the heck I'm talking about when I'm saying finals exams, I'm talking about the patch, okay? It's coming out next week, basically. For those of you who didn't get that. Anyway, I'll tell you when it will begin, what classroom you are assigned to, etc., all of that good stuff. Make sure to study over the weekend, and on the day of the test, you better bring your own number 2 pencil, as I will not be providing any. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section below. And as always, remember to be considerate and have fun with everything you do. Bye!